up after him every night is not love, it's incompetence. Doing his washing every week is not love, it's incompetence. Cooking him food every day because he's not a good cook is not love, it's actually incompetence. And although I don't think that doing these things for your partner occasionally is a bad thing, what I'm saying is that if your partner is incapable and isn't able to cook, clean, look after himself, that's not a role that you should be taking on, because it's not love. It's called incompetence, okay? And he is incompetent and he wants a mummy.
Wait, so does this mean that men shouldn't be paying for women's things? We shouldn't be paying the rent. We shouldn't be taking her out on dates. We shouldn't be caring about her physical safety, any of these things, because she's just incompetent? I love how obvious modern women are making it, guys, that they are just completely undateable. And that essentially, if she's in your life, she's going to do absolutely nothing, because doing anything positive for a man is somehow a reflection of how bad the man is. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again, unfortunately, with some stupid clips for you here today. So on today's episode, we are going to be kicking off with a clip from this woman. And we also have a couple of other clips that we'll be going through today. But this woman, like the intro says, apparently cleaning for a man is just incompetence. You know, the man is just incompetent. Essentially doing anything nice for a dude these days is bad news, right? Very, very bad. So let's jump into it. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Cleaning up after him every night is not love, it's incompetence. Doing his washing every week is not love, it's incompetence. Cooking him food every day because he's not a good cook is not love, it's actually incompetence.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I can flip this and I can say, guys, doing anything positive for a woman, caring for your woman, your wife or your girlfriend, you know, it's just because she's incompetent. If you're out here paying for a woman's bills, you know, you're providing for your family, you're caring about her physical safety, you're fixing things when they break, you are resolving issues for her left, right, and center. Don't do these things, guys, because the women are just incompetent. Again, whenever you flip what these clowns say, notice how things just start to fall apart very quickly, because if men stop doing their duties, women will lose their minds, their quote-unquote duties, right? The things that men are expected to do.
Competence. Cooking him food every day because he's not a good cook is not love, it's actually incompetence. And although I don't think that doing these things for your partner occasionally is a bad thing, what I'm saying is that if your partner is incapable and isn't able to cook, clean, look after himself, that's not a role that you should be taking on.
So let me just say this. Most men can actually look after themselves, right? But women, oftentimes, they have to micromanage and control these things. You know, just because a dude doesn't have to do things fancy doesn't mean that he can't look after himself. You know, women, guys, oftentimes what I've noticed is they like to make all of these little tasks and things that honestly, like, don't need doing. A lot of guys can take care of themselves, they can look after themselves, but if they don't do it in the exact way that the woman requires, then apparently he's, you know, he's incompetent. You know, dudes will go out here, man, they'll just cook themselves a steak. You know, one big ass steak, maybe some potatoes, they'll call it dinner. But a lot of women are like, ugh, you know, that's not cooking, he can't look after himself. The dude's perfectly happy eating steak and potatoes, you know. He doesn't do his laundry as frequently as she said, that, as you know, as frequently as she would do it, because, you know, huge issue for her. He's not a real man, he's looking for a mother. Ridiculous, guys. But you know, occasionally, apparently doing these things occasionally is fine. You know, guys, you're out here, let's just say you're a dude and you're providing for your family. Hey guys, sometimes it's okay to pay rent, but other times if you're just not feeling it, there's no need to pay the rent, am I right?
Things for your partner occasionally is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that if your partner is incapable and isn't able to cook, clean, look after himself, that's not a role that you should be taking on, because it's not love, it's called incompetence.
Yeah, and here it is, right? Looking after a man in any capacity, that's not love, apparently. That's just the dude being incompetent. This is what I've noticed with social media, you know, recently, is like anything that's done positively, like any sort of caring behavior that's directed towards a man, these women just get super triggered by it. I've actually noticed there are like a few women out there who they'll make a video doing something nice for their man, right? It'll be a woman and she'll make like a nice meal or something like this, or she'll just do something kind for her husband or boyfriend or whatever. She will post it, and then you'll have these angry women in the comments like, you know, you're oppressed. What does it feel like being his slave and all of these sorts of things? It's completely ridiculous. And then these women, like this one sitting in her car right now, guys, they just can't understand why men just don't end up dating them, right? Why all of the dudes that they want never like them back. And truthfully, these dudes never will. But part of that is because they have no qualities that the men are looking for. You know, like they want a woman who actually cares about him and does some kind things for him, not someone who views it like the dude's incompetent if she does it, you know? Like dudes are just not interested in this. They want somebody who actually cares about them and doesn't just call it incompetence whenever you do something nice for the man.
After himself, that's not a role that you should be taking on because it's not love. It's called incompetence, okay? And he is incompetent and he wants a mummy.
So let's just pause it at that last comment. She says that, you know, the dudes are out here, they're looking for a mother or something like this. Have you guys ever noticed how many of these women are actually just realistically looking for a father? You know, so does that mean that dudes shouldn't be out here paying your bills, protecting you, all of the things I mentioned earlier? Because again, these would fall under the things that fathers would do for you. So does that mean I can come out here and say, well, modern women are just looking for fathers? You know, but they have to turn it into like this weird thing, man, where, oh, these men are out here looking for a mother. It's like, no, they just want somebody who cares about them. Yeah, coincidentally, their mother also probably cared about them. Big whoop. But they just draw like this weird correlation and they try and make it seem like dudes are being super damn weird. But speaking of being super damn weird, this is a clip that I saw recently, guys, that was sent to me. This is so incredibly stupid, right? So this woman decides to get triggered over absolutely nothing. Check this out. And again, as we continue through these clips, don't forget to leave your comments and your thoughts. If you have any like comments relating to specific videos, guys, make sure you drop them down below. I've noticed people actually say specifically which video. You know, when I'm looking through the comments, that helps it make a bit more sense. If you have a comment directed at a specific video, let's jump in.
What do you call a female deer? A doe. What do you call a female horse? A mare. What do you call, and this one's really hard for a lot of you, a female human? A woman.
A female? Like, guys, so now we're at the stage, right? We're at the stage of lunacy where doing something nice for a man, bad, right? If you're a woman and you get called a female, then that's somehow bad, right? And she'll go on to her reasoning in a second here, guys, but it's like these people, you can't call a female because it's offensive to her, and you can't call a male, despite the fact that that's what we are. So insane, guys. Like, and again, they wonder why dudes don't date them. They make an issue out of this crap. Imagine what these women are actually like dating. Completely impossible.
Really hard for a lot of you. A female human. A woman. You call them women. One of the reasons that your bald podcast bros call us females instead of women, aside from the fact that they're just dipshits, is because it makes it easier to dehumanize someone who you never actually humanized in the first place.
See, this is what I call just being a professional victim. So apparently men, if you've ever referred to a female as a female, guys, then that means that you, and this applies to women too, I would assume, right? If you've ever called a female, then apparently you never humanized women in the first place, and you're dehumanizing women. Let me just say, guys, you know, like if someone calls me a male, I should hope so. You know, I'm a male. If somebody calls you a female, this is not that big of a deal. And so what they like to do is they like to pretend that this somehow is some great offense against them. You know, women are being oppressed, they're being dehumanized. And I love how she has this dig at bold podcast bros. I don't know, maybe this woman has an issue with Joe Rogan. I don't know. A lot of these dudes, isn't Joe Rogan, wasn't he like, you know, a liberal or something? He's recently you know, had on a lot of guests that are not as liberal. I don't know. This dude doesn't come across to me as some sort of woman disliker or something who dehumanizes women. Joe Rogan, who is probably the most famous podcaster who's bald, I would assume, he has plenty of women over on his show, as far as I understand. You know, but of course, apparently, guys, we don't like women. And see, this is the problem. This is where these girls get it real confused, is because you'll have women out there who are females who have called other women females. So you've just kind of screwed yourself over there, because the women see clips like this and they're like, but I am a female. I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the women see clips like this, and the ones that have common sense will also just think that you're a complete nut job. This doesn't help you in your victimhood narrative that you've got going on, because there are a lot of women out there who would actually, you know, prefer to be gendered as a female because that's what they are. But hey, lunacy apparently.
Humanize someone who you never actually humanized in the first place.
Craziness, man. Absolute craziness. But speaking of craziness, let's get on to the next clip here. This is a woman who is going to be giving some dating advice. We actually featured this woman. I don't think it was this clip, but I think it was this woman recently on one of the episodes, and she was giving some other advice about how you have to give men the silent treatment. Excuse me, you have to be silent when you're angry with a man, but apparently it's not silent treatment. I don't know what the difference is, guys. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger, okay? I have no idea what the hell the difference is between being silent and the silent treatment. But apparently this woman, very intellectual, she understands such minuscule differences. This is going to be how to be unbothered when dating a man. Always love to hear some dating advice given by a woman who nobody wants to date. So let's jump into it and take a listen.
How you're going to stay unbothered when it comes to dating a man. If he does anything that upsets you, you're going to stay unbothered because you are unbothered queen. You have better things going on in your life.
Yeah, like recording TikTok videos that nobody cares about. Why is it, man, that when women make these videos, they always refer to each other as queens? You know, like, you're an absolute queen. You deserve this. I swear, the only time, like, I don't get on here and be like, yo, what's up, kings? You know, the only time I call dudes kings is when I'm making fun of the women who are out here calling women queens for no reason. You know, you deserve this kind of man, you absolute queen. So I'll turn around and make a joke about how, you know, every man is a king and he deserves X thing. And obviously men find this innately stupid because we understand that we're not just instantaneously kings and we don't deserve things simply for existing. You know, common sense, but common sense just goes completely over these women's heads.
You're going to stay unbothered because you are unbothered queen. You have better things going on in your life. And whatever he does or doesn't do, you're just like, okay, goodbye, see you later. These are key things that you need to remember. Number one, you are so detached from his actions. You're just a person that is observing his behavior and you're noting it, okay? Whatever he does, you're just noting it. You're not gonna get upset. You're not gonna cry and beg him to act right. You're simply going to observe his behavior and act accordingly.
Okay, so here's what's happening. This is a woman who is out here having situationships. And so, you know, she's analyzing behavior. These women are so damn lost. What are you doing? It just sums up the video, guys, doesn't it? What are you doing? What are you doing? So you're not going to cry. You're not going to beg him to act right. You're simply going to observe his behavior and act accordingly. Yeah, so this is a woman who can't get a relationship out of the men that she wants. She chooses these attractive guys on dating applications. These guys obviously have a bunch of other women. They're not being monogamous to her. And she thinks that she's some sort of genius because she's over here analyzing their behavior. You want to know what you need to analyze? You don't have a relationship. So why are we analyzing his behavior in the first place? You don't even have a relationship with this man. He's having bedroom fun with you. He's clearly not interested. And you're analyzing his behavior as if he gives a damn. Modern women, guys. I present to you modern women and their dating strategies.
Beg him to act right. You're simply going to observe his behavior and act accordingly. If he did not text you when he said he was going to text you, if he did not call you when he said he was going to call you, if he did not plan a date like he said he was going to plan a date, you have it noted in your head. You're like, oh, cool. Got it. Good to know you didn't keep your word, right?
I mean, this woman's acting as if these men give a damn. You think if these dudes are not following through with things that they say that they're going to do, you think that this woman would get the message that they're not interested. But no, guys, she's just, every time she gets screwed over by Chad, you know, she's just noting it. She'll continue to hook up with him though, but she's just, you know, she's noting it. As if anyone gives a damn, by the way. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, they go out here, they date these dudes, and they think that these lists matter. You know what ends up happening? These women are like, hey, you didn't do this. You said you would do that. the guy's like, oh yeah, sorry. And but he doesn't care. He's not interested in a relationship with you. I find it so funny how backwards these women actually have dating. They give themselves up to these dudes with no commitment necessary, and then they try and hold him accountable eventually for the things that he says he's going to do or doesn't do, or he's talking to a whole bunch of women or whatever. It's like you don't have a relationship with this man. You gave your body to him for nothing, and you want to analyze his behaviors. These people are geniuses. What can I say?
When he said he was going to call you, if he did not plan a date like he said he was going to plan a date, you have it noted in your head. You're like, oh, cool. Got it. Good to know you didn't keep your word, right? Literally in your mind, you're just doing a little like checklist. Like, oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Good to know. Now I know who he is, right? From there, you can decide to keep dating this type of person or not.
Yeah, so check this out. This is exactly what I said. So after making her list of things that this guy didn't do right, so bear in mind, she's probably been sleeping with this dude the entire time. So she's been hooking up with this guy, making the list of things that he hasn't done correctly according to her standards. And then she's going to continue, and she's going to decide after that whether or not she's going to keep dating him. This guy's already won. I mean, not in your case, because you're a very unique individual. But, you know, this guy already got what he wanted. If you keep hooking up with him, okay. If you bounce, it's no big issue. These guys, I cannot emphasize it enough, man. These men do not care. If you dip, that is fine. He will just replace you. Not that big of a deal. The dudes who have options with women, who treat women like options, they don't care, especially when the women are this, how do I say this? Not dateable. You know, and I'm putting that very, very politely, man. Like, these girls are not relationship material. They're not wife material. And then they try and hold it as some sort of ransom that they're going to leave. These guys were never interested in getting you to stay in the first place.
But you're not going to be sad if he doesn't do these things for you. You're going to realize that if he doesn't do these things, it does not affect your worth as a woman, okay? So if he does or doesn't do something, you're not going to internalize it. You're simply going to note it and act accordingly. Watch how he is with you. If he doesn't behave how you want him to behave, good riddance. 2, you are not going to compete with him or with any woman.
Okay, so let me just go back here for a second, right? So if the dude doesn't behave how you want him to behave, good riddance. So let me just say this, man. These women, they're like, I'm gonna throw him out. Oftentimes they don't do this. And even if they do, they eventually go back to the guy anyway. You see what I'm saying? If the man is attractive enough, she will return to this guy. This is like these women who they get sick of being played by Chad, okay? And they get on these videos and they're like, well, I'm going to uninstall the dating applications now. But they've uninstalled them 3 times previously. They're going to go back to the dating applications. Oh, I'm going to get rid of this man because of X reason, even though I didn't have a relationship with this guy. I was hooking up with him, but you know what? That's the final straw. I'm going to throw him away. They eventually end up going back to these guys anyway. These dudes, they don't give a damn. So that's the funny part about that. And then we continue into the next part, and it got even more stupid. Let's continue.
2, you are not going to compete with him or with any woman. You are so focused on yourself. You know you're an amazing woman. You know you got it like that. And any woman that comes across, or anyone that he like potentially may be talking to, if you think that he's talking to other women, you're not concerned about that. You're just concerned about yourself, your time, and what you're doing. If you're assuming he is dating other people, just let it be. You're not going to compete with those women. You know who you are. If he doesn't see your worth, that is his loss.
I love how these women, man, they always assume that like the guy is losing something, you know, and that they're just the top woman, right? She's what did she say here? It's completely arrogant, man. Completely arrogant. Just let it be. You're not going to compete with those other women. Oh yeah, you know your worth. This is funny because I really don't think that a lot of women actually understand and do the math on how valuable they are to a man, because there are things that men consider when they're looking to have a relationship with you. If you have been with 37 different men, your worth to a man who has self-respect goes down significantly. This is not, you know, this is something that is pretty unanimous with a lot of guys. It really is. If you refuse to do anything positive or nice for the man because you don't want to be seen as his mother and you think it's just him being incompetent, then the dude is probably not going to want to date you. If you have been in a whole bunch of different situationships, the dude is probably not going to want to date you. If you record stupid TikTok videos, the dude is probably not going to want to date you. The list goes on, guys. Like there is a clear metric of things that dudes who have self-respect will and will not tolerate out of a woman, right? And will or will not consider for relationship prospects. Again, here's another one. A woman has a whole bunch of half unclothed photos on her Instagram for herself, you know, bikini photos, all this kind of stuff. A lot of guys are not going to be interested in that, right? Your worth is lowered to men when you do this. Now, you can be mad, you can throw out shaming language, that's fine, but these dudes are not going to care. You see what I'm saying? They're simply not. You can say, oh, you're just insecure. You don't like to date a confident woman like me. You throw out all those different types of language. You're welcome to do that. But men will not value you nearly as much. The assumption that every woman is just completely valuable is crazy to me. Men understand, man. Men really have a good grasp on this. They know, hey, listen, if I don't bring this, and this, then women don't value me as much. Dudes understand this from a very early age. You bring nothing, people don't value you. They don't care, right? If you're not bringing something to the table as a dude, you don't even get to sit at the damn table. Women get a small taste of reality of this and they lose their marbles, guys. They are not happy about it. In fact, they just flat out deny it like this woman does.
About that. You're just concerned about yourself, your time, and what you're doing. If you're assuming he is dating other people, just let it be. You're not going to compete with those women. You know who you are. If he doesn't see your worth, that is his loss.
And notice the implication, right? Is always there's something wrong with the man. He's losing something. Crazy.
But you are not going to compete with this man because that's very masculine energy. You're not going to compete with other women because you know who you are. Whether or not he ends up with someone else and not you, that is none of your concern. That person is not for you at the end of the day. So just focus on yourself and don't worry about anybody else that this person may or may not be dating.
Yeah, so this is like I said in the first 2 seconds of the video. We're out here hooking up with dudes who are attractive, who are seeing a bunch of other women, and they were making notes of his behavior and then finally deciding to leave when, honestly, guys, these women, they always come back to these dudes and oftentimes they never do leave. Very funny. Very, very funny.
And don't worry about anybody else that this person may or may not be dating. 3, you're going to text sporadically. Do not be so predictable when it comes to your texting habits. It's going to be very easy if you do have a very fulfilling life. So if you have a lot of things going on, if you have social things, work going on, friends, family, all that good stuff, right? It's going to come a lot more naturally to you when you actually have a little bit of time to give him that, you know, talking back and forth, but then you're gone for the next few hours.
Let me just say this, okay? Women are never absent from their phones. Guys, please understand this. If you're a dude and you're out there dating, number 1, good luck to you. Number 2, if women are texting you sporadically, you know, it's all spaced out and everything, they're not interested. Okay, they are women are on their phones all of the damn time. I can't even believe that this needs to be said, man. But these texting games that women do, they're stupid. They're absolutely stupid. Any dude with self-respect who understands women, or just, you don't even have to understand women very well, guys. I think it's very common knowledge that women do not separate from their phones whatsoever. If she's not texting you back for hours, she's really not that interested. You start pulling this sporadic texting, dudes will just drop you. It's really, really that simple. And again, you're essentially, what you're doing, if you're a woman and you're doing this, you pretty much actively put yourself into the for fun bucket only, assuming the guy even decides to keep you around. You know, you start doing these texting games, every guy knows that you're being a complete clown. We know that you can't be separate from your phone for 2 seconds, especially women like this, guys, who have to live quote-unquote fulfilling lives where they record TikTok videos of themselves giving fantastic dating advice to, you know, for women who are not even in relationships with these men that they are dating. Genius. Absolute top tier intelligence right here, gentlemen.
It's very, very intriguing. Guys like feed off of this sort of like dopamine hit when you do when you do reach out to them after
That's women.
it's been a few hours, but then when you make it not so easy for them, it also increases that like chase thing that they really, really crave. If you're
This is women.
not giving them that predictability about you, it is very, very attractive. Don't answer
It's very unattractive.
all of his calls all the time. It just makes them more obsessed with you. It is. So have a fulfilling life. The key thing to remember in this whole thing is that you're worrying about yourself, right? When you worry about yourself, they come towards you more.
Yeah, right. You know, can't forget, gentlemen, right? As we go through this video, it's all about herself, herself, herself. Me, I. Focus on yourself. All I hear during these videos is just narcissism, by the way. This is just, I made a flow chart of this a while ago, guys, where like you, as a woman, these people, they come to this quote unquote realization, right? They go through they're starting to take dating seriously. They're upping their standards. And part of this process is really just galvanizing the narcissism. You have to be really focused on you, all about you, what you need, what you want out of a man. You have to start creating lists of the things that you want. It's disgusting. It's just narcissism. That's really what it is.
Don't feel like you have to be glued to your phone texting this dude, okay? He's not the most important part of your day. You're the most important part of your day. That's how it should be. You need to be dating multiple men.
Oh,
You need to have a
my.
roster. Yes. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you have a roster, you are going to not be so focused on one particular guy, and you're going to let a lot of things slide more if you are dating one person at a time. If you have a roster, it does give you the opportunity to see what you like, what you don't like. You're not focused on one dude. This guy isn't calling you or texting you. You have this other guy who's being consistent. It just allows you to not focus on one particular person, and it gives you a better dating experience.
Okay, this woman is so damn clueless. Let me explain to you as a woman, or excuse me, female, just to trigger the previous woman. Here's what happens if you do this. If you are a female and you date a whole bunch of dudes at the same time, no dude who will want to take you seriously. This is why you get played so much. This is a very big part of the reason why dudes don't want to date you. If you want to talk to multiple men at the same time, the dudes are going to be very repulsed by this, and they will not want to have a relationship with you. Again, guys, like if you're a woman and you're dating, this is not in your best interest to do. Any dude who has any level of self-respect is going to be completely repulsed by this. They're not out here looking to date or court women who are hooking up with multiple dudes at the same time. I don't even care if you're not hooking up with these men. I mean, a lot of women are hooking up with multiple men. But even if you're just going out on multiple dates with different dudes, why in the hell am I taking you out to a date? You see what I'm saying? Go out with the other guys, not my problem. Make them pay for your meals. I'm not some cuck who's going to come out here and buy your things for you. You've got a roster, right? Go and make those dudes do it. Not me. Not interested. Thank you. Okay, I think a lot of guys who have self-respect, they come to that same conclusion, man. They're not out here wanting to buy your dinner. This has to be one of the fastest ways, aside from posting promiscuous photos of yourself on the internet as a woman, a female, excuse me. This has to be one of the fastest and most reliable ways to get men to never take you seriously, particularly the men that you want. They see this crap and they will just turn the other way. Now, you can get relationships out of dudes who will put up with this, but ironically enough, isn't it interesting, guys, how the types of men that they can get relationships out of are never the men that they want. It's almost like the men that they want, i.e. the men with self-respect and options, don't want to choose women like this. You want to date a bunch of dudes? That's fine, but just know a lot of guys, as a result, particularly the ones you want, will not be interested in you. This dating advice, guys, is so bad. It is so terrible, and this is why you don't listen to female dating coaches.
Do not focus on one particular person, and it gives you a better dating experience. A lot of guys date a lot of women at the same time. You also have to have this mentality.
So just by the way, right, here's the thing, guys. If you're a dude and you're dating a whole bunch of women at the same time, women say, well, men can do it. Why can't we? Here's the thing. Women have this thing, guys. When have you ever seen a woman be put off by the fact that a dude is dating multiple guys? Like really, truly, when have you ever seen a woman be like, yeah, he's so attractive, I really just, I want this guy, But you know what? There are like 50 other women who also like him, and he's just giving time to them as well. Women don't they might act annoyed by this, but they never actually disqualify these guys, if you notice. Like they truthfully don't. This is a concept known as social proof, guys. Dudes are very, very repulsed by this behavior. If you have a woman who's, you know, dating a whole bunch of guys, this will make dudes feel sick, and they just won't have a relationship with you. Conversely, guys, women will go out here and they never stop pursuing these guys. These dudes who have all of the options and have all of the women, they just view it as more of a green light behavior-wise. You know, if women stuck to their guns and said, hey, listen, I don't want to date a guy who's been with a whole bunch of different women, I would sit there and say, okay, probably a good choice. But they never do that. They never do that. If a guy has been with 37 different women, guys, I have never seen this actually be a disqualifying thing for a woman. Now, there might be a very few amount of women who do disqualify men based on this, but I personally have never seen it. Very, very interesting. But guys, we might be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.